What's up, guys? I hope you're having a great day today. I'm going live to talk about what's up, what's up. Hey guys, how's it going today? I'm going live to share about my sessions, and I want to do this in a really cool way. I'm seeing all kinds of people start to share the same message in their own unique and different ways. And so I wanted to bring this to you today with a word that is very used right now. It is coming into popularity. This word is neurodivergence. And people are looking at this word. They're like, what is this? Why is everybody talking about this right now? Like, what does this mean? And basically, neurodivergence is something that we are being told it's like a brain difference. So they're looking at these people, they're like, look, your brain is different and it affects the way that your brain functions and operates, and that's why you're different than people. And so, my message, and a lot of people that are coming out right now, is that we are all neurodivergent. We are all different. We all have different genetic makeups. We all have different brains. We all have different experiences. We are all completely unique. And so, a huge problem that we have today is that we act like we're not. We try to create this like perfect version of human being, and we try to condition everyone to being that perfect version. And if you're not that perfect version, I can sit you down and talk with you, and I can diagnose you. I can label you. I can say, oh, you have this and you need to take this and you need to do this. But I can't necessarily prove that diagnosis with a brain scan or a genetic test. Like, I can't necessarily prove the diagnosis that I'm asking you to believe in. I can't prove that you need to take the medication that I'm asking you to take. And so mental illness is so interesting. And as we come out with this neurodivergence, people are standing up for their difference. And they're like, look, it's not a problem that I'm different like this. And I don't need to take medication about it or change about it or do anything about it because I am purposefully made. And so I think that that is absolutely beautiful. You know, when we sit down to talk to someone and they diagnose us with mental illness, they're looking for symptoms like tiredness, low energy, sleep problems, detachment and delusion. Maybe you experience paranoia, hallucinations, inability to cope, trouble relating. And when I look at these things, it's completely understandable. But I look at these things as soul issues, not something to make into a problem, but maybe something that's here to show us something, communicate something to us, move us to a different place, different people. Maybe something happened to help you release something from your past or to help you understand something in your life better. And so these issues, I believe, start to come about when we aren't functioning in our wholeness. And so our pieces are disconnected. We're having trouble just living. You know, it's like feeling like you can't get in the bed or can't get out of the bed type of stuff. It can be very debilitating and hard to live. And so it's something that looks like such a problem. And the more that we treat it like a problem, the more that we're not looking at this thing and asking it for wisdom, the more that we can go down that path, you know, the louder that it might get along the way. And so when it comes to my sessions, you know, I bring people in and I have no choice in seeing them as pretty much perfect. I see them as unique. I sit them down. They talk to me about their life, what's going on. And really, we just sort through things. You know, we allow it all. Everything that's happened to you is allowed. And I believe that it all happened. That right there is something that you may not get from a therapist, a spouse, a friend, a parent. You know, it's like that right there is so valuable to just be heard as you share your experience or where you are or what you think is happening, so that you can begin to sort that out for yourself. Because if that will be just allowed for you, it will take care of itself. And if that gets pushed away, shoved away, not allowed, that can't be true, you know, it can be very hard to even begin letting the problem be the solution that it can be. And so these things, you know, they affect our thinking, our behavior, and something that's so interesting to me, you know, we can't find these things on a brain scan, but I believe that we're getting closer and closer to finding them within our genetics. And we're looking at this right now. We are seeing the uniqueness in our genes, we're also seeing that they mutate. So just anytime you can go through genetic mutation. And what happens? Does it affect your life? Does it affect the way you see life? Does it affect the way you live and act? And as that genetic mutation happens, we still don't have enough information to diagnose based on that, or to let someone know what they might be going through, or begin to think that we know what they might be going through. But I believe that we're getting closer and closer. And when you look at the genes, we have 64 genetic codons, and in the human design system, we have 64 gates. These 64 gates come from the I Ching, and I love to look at these gates in people through time. I think that this helps me understand their difference, or maybe the possibility of what their difference could be if they were allowed to be their self. I also love to look at these gates because when I am looking at your chart, I can look at husband's chart. I can see, okay, you guys might have this type of dynamic, and that can be okay. He might be like this and make decisions like this, and that's okay. You're not like that. You might be like this and make decisions like this, and that's okay. And if he can let you do it like you do it, and you can let him do it like he does it, then we can move through time together, supporting each other, allowing each other, loving, accepting each other. And when it looks like that, you are supported through the down times of life. You are supported through the hard events, the tragic events. It's like we can do that for each other. We can allow ourselves and each other to be in our differences and to be ourselves, so that we can be whole and not have to live with these soul issues going on within us. It's really interesting too, when it comes to this stuff, looking at it as problem or solution. It's like, if I begin to get pain in my knee at work, I could look at that day and be like, oh, I have pain in my knee. This is showing me something. I need to take it easy tomorrow. I need to, change my lifestyle. I need to change the way that I bend down to pick up things. Like, maybe I'm taking stairs too much, or maybe I could get a brace. You start looking at that pain and treating it like it's valuable, treating it like it has something to teach you, so that it can show you what to do in order to get back to that healthy place. It's like, if I look at that knee and I just ignore it, and I'm like, ugh, knee hurts again, knee always hurts, I'm gonna just always deal with this knee, what's wrong with me? It's like, we can ignore the pain and we can let it become worse because we don't want to look at it. We don't think that we should have to deal with a hurting knee or this, that, and the other. But if we can look at that initial beginning of the pain and treat it correctly from the beginning, we can save ourselves so much trouble in the long run. And so I think a lot of mental illnesses are like that. We start and it's this small thing, it's some misunderstanding, it's some sand in our meaning place. And it's like, the more that that's treated as a problem, the more that you're told you need to go to therapy, or you're just not connecting with me, I don't understand what you're saying. I think that can become a bigger and bigger problem. And so we have to allow these things and let them be what they are, and let them be okay. Let ourselves go through that down period so that we can gain what it's going to bring to us. And so when it comes to my sessions, I don't do any diagnosing, labeling, medication. I work by allowing and accepting. And it's interesting, a lot of my clients have been, not a good match for therapy. Maybe they've been through multiple therapists. Maybe their therapist kicked them out of the practice. Maybe they have issues with things that are hard even for therapists to deal with. Something big that I receive a lot is people with suicidal thoughts. And so some of these people have been unreceived by their therapists because this can become such an accumulating, heavy problem, especially in a child. And the therapist might start to look at it like it's a disconnect between the two of you. They might think there's a better match. They want to help you get what you need. And so maybe you have felt rejected or abandoned, but truly, I hope that you're just being taken towards those right people, because what I know is that even children, I've had multiple children, that if we can just accept and allow that suicidal thought is here. I always start with, you're not your mind. Your mind can pick up that thought from this, him, her, last week book about the future, like you can pick up that thought from anywhere. And if you think that thought, your mind thinks that thought, and you're like, oh my gosh, why am I thinking this, right? It makes you scared. You're resisting it. You don't want to think that thought. You're fighting it. Maybe you're trying to think positive thoughts, right? And it's like, all I do is help us turn around and look at that thought and be like, you're allowed to be here, even if you're not true. And you can come and you will be allowed. And that doesn't mean that you can move me. That doesn't mean that you can bring me to action, but you can, you can think this thought. And as soon as I get a child to allow that thought, it will stop. It will stop within a couple weeks, a couple months. That child will relax. They will stop dealing with the resistance that they were creating inside of themselves over something that they didn't create at all. They didn't create that suicidal thought. They picked it up from somewhere. They took on maybe genetic mutation, right? Like we go in each other's auras and boom, we give and receive this energy. We can really affect each other. And so we truly don't know how we pick these things up, and we don't need to blame it on the mind that's thinking it, right? We can allow that thing, and then we can just let it kind of naturally, gradually fade into the distance. And so I hope you guys are having a great day today. I will come into Messenger and come around and see you. Hey, Blue, what's up? Hey, Chai. All right, guys. Have a good day. Talk soon.